Hi, this is Ryan Reagan, the founding partner of HKExcel. So right now, the IB exam has officially started, and for first year IB students, your mock exams are also coming up very, very soon. A lot of students ask me about test taking techniques, how you can, what strategies you can use during an exam to maximize your score. So that's what I want to teach you today. Okay, so I'll tell you 3 test taking strategies that have worked magic for me, that really, really works, okay? And one more thing before I start, I'd like to tell you is that just by sharing this video and direct messaging HKExcel's Facebook page or Instagram page, just direct message us after sharing our video, we are going to send you an IB note of your choice, any IB notes that is made by HKExcel on any topic you like. So our IB notes typically include breakdown of complicated concepts in very simple terms that you can understand. It includes exam questions that you can work on, sorted by topic exam questions, and it includes marking schemes and suggested answers made by our IB experts. Okay, so I really believe that this is going to help you. Okay, so if you want the notes, please share this video and direct message it. So before you go into an exam, I was a student myself, I noticed that many students like to look over their notes and discuss with their friends. They're like, oh, do you remember what's the definition of demand? Oh, do you know how to answer this past paper question? They just keep they just keep studying until the last minute, right? They just, even when they're in the exam hall about to get into the exam room, they're asking their friends if they know the answer to something, or they are reading their notes and really scratching their heads thinking about how to solve certain problems, right? I've noticed that up to 50%, even more than 50% of students do this. So even right before they go on exam, they're still trying to study, they're still trying to solve problems. Let me tell you, I've tried this before, but I realized this is a very, very bad approach. Make sure you don't do this. Because when you try to study or when you try to solve problems before the exam, your brain gets tired, right? So when you get into an exam, you get less energy to solve the actual problems that are worth the marks. And secondly, if you keep solving problems outside, a lot of times you get confused because you just lose confidence as well, right? Because if you realize there is something you don't understand before going to exam, you panic, you start to panic, you lose the confidence and the composure you need to ace exam. So what I suggest you is only study the night before the exam, get a good night's sleep. When you go into the exam, in the exam hall, do not study, do not talk to anyone, just focus, just don't think about anything, right? Just calm yourself down, just calm down and don't think about anything about the exam. Just try to slow yourself down and calm down, basically. Don't panic before the exam, and don't study or discuss with your friends before going to the exam. This is so important. So another thing that often happens in exam is that before going to an exam, you feel like you know everything, you feel like you've studied everything, but when you see a question, it seems like the question does not relate to anything you study, right? It just seems like the question you just don't know how to answer the question. It seems like it's not even in the syllabus. This kind of thing happens a lot in IB exams, but ultimately what you need to remember is that everything in the IB exam is from the syllabus. If you study the entire syllabus, everything in the IB exam is going to relate to the syllabus, right? So instead of panicking, you should think the best approach to think about is, okay, so what part of the syllabus does this relate to? Which chapter does this relate to? Which concepts can I apply to solve this problem? Think about the concepts that the question relates to, and then oftentimes, just by thinking about the concepts that relate to the question, you can come up with an answer. This has worked for me many, many times, trust me. So the last tip I'll share with you is something about time allocation. A lot of students ask, so how should I allocate time in an exam? Actually, you can calculate it yourself. Basically, what you do is this. First, so every exam, there's an allocated time. There's a total time that you're allowed to do the exam, and there's the total amount of marks in the exam, right? So for example, if the total mark is 100 and you get 60 minutes, let's say, right? So you can first calculate the minute per mark. What does that mean? So you divide the total amount of minutes by the total amount of marks. So for example, 100 marks divided by 60 minutes, right? This will give you the minute per mark. Minute per mark is basically how many minutes you should spend for each mark, right? So this is how much. So for example, an easy example, if the exam is 100 mark and you get 100 minutes, you should ideally spend 1 minute for every mark, right? Simple. You should spend 1 minute for every mark. You should not spend more than 1 minute, because otherwise you lose out on the other marks, right? So after you get the minutes per mark, you can calculate how much time is needed for each question. For example, if the minute per mark is 3, so you should spend 3 minutes for every mark, and the question is worth 3 marks, then you should spend 9 marks on that question. Easy, right? So this is how you should allocate your time. So yeah, I hope you find this video helpful. Once again, please remember to share this video if you find it useful, and if you want notes, right? Share this video and we are going to direct message us and we will send you our notes.